Who else is supposed to be in here though, really, at this time?
It is early.
Can you see the Board of Zoning? I mean, can you see the Board of Zoning Appeals, inbox to see if anybody's questioning it? I'm gonna send, Shelley Hill the link right now.
Thank you. That's the only person.
Okay. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I was just looking at that, I was thinking we need to take that down immediately. It was a rough winter, we need those snowflakes to be. You missed our longest hearing last week. We went till 3:30. Yeah, yeah. We had 5 cases altogether, but it was a big controversial case in, uh, Wade Park. Wade Park had one. Over by, it must not be, yeah, it's come, it's come. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Lucky. There's a lot of testimony. It was, a religious, institution wanting to establish in one of those big houses. Oh, okay, you did, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the board sided with the residents here. That was hard. Yeah, yeah. They wanted to, it would really be just like catty corner sort of L shape, like their house is here on the East 115. And they wanted to buy the house on Wade Park. That's just right. It would have been perfect, but yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, please, if you want to speak today on one of the cases. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do that. Oh. Oh, there it is. Okay. 2302-986-7428.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is now 9:34. I will call us to order. We will get started today with the reading of the preamble. Madam Secretary.
Good morning, my name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, March 9th, 2026. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstention from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Can we call the roll, please?
Sure. Mr. Madison?
Present.
Ms. Faith?
Present.
Ms. Roca?
Present.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a full complement of board.
Perfect. All right, we have all the board members present, so we will now call the first case. Do we have someone present from Norman King or someone by the name of Norman King present? Either in the room or online, anyone present on his behalf? What's that? Norman King, are you present? The owner of 17715 Euclid Avenue? All right, hearing none, I will go to the next case and we'll recall that one later. So he's not here at this time, so we're gonna try and get in touch with him to see if we can bring him in, and then we'll recall that case. Are you here for that case?
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Oh, you're a neighbor. Okay. Yes, we will recall that case if he appears. If not, then we will make a decision about whether we dismiss it or reschedule it. So if you want to hang tight with us just for a moment, we'll call that case back in a second. All right. Do we have Stephanie Mackey present? Wait, did you have something else for that one?
Madam Chair, we do have the assistant for the council president requesting for her case to be moved up, if that would be all right with you.
Okay. Which case is she here for?
Martin
Is
Luther
this-
King Jr. Drive 26-011.
Okay. Church of God in Christ. Do we have someone present from the Church of God in Christ?
Present.
All right. We will go ahead and read this one into the record. Ms. Holzer.
Our next case is calendar number 26-011. This is at 2606 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Church of God in Christ, Inc. owner proposes to replace a freestanding identification bulletin board sign with an electronic changeable copy bulletin board monument sign in a C1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two, with one section having lots of notes. Who would like to do the oath today?
I can do
Okay, I'll hand it over to Ms.
I can do it.
I'll hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Lavita Parker, Laveta, representing Council President. I do. Lavita Parker, Laveta, Parker, representing Council President Blaine A. Griffin, 601 Lakeside Avenue, room 220.
Thank you. And anyone else in the room for this case? And moving to the call, I see someone's hand up. Go ahead, sir.
I do. Jermel Wilkerson Sr., Jermel Wilkerson Sr.
And your address, please.
3307 Shell Drive, Twinsburg, Ohio, 44087.
Thank you. Anyone else on the call who wishes to speak in this matter? I'm not seeing a hand raised. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we go to history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail business in 1929. In 2010, it was changed to multifamily. In the Records Administration Office, we found that in 1963, a permit was issued to demolish a garage and erect a new garage. 1974, a permit was issued to erect a fence. There is one variance on file in calendar 10-251, and that was in 2010. This board denied a request to erect an addition to a legal non-conforming church on the property. And then, Madam Chair, we only have one other record on file. In 2001, a permit was issued to erect a ground sign, 24 square feet. And that's all that we have. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a variance to allow an electronic message center to display information pertinent to a community facility use on the premises. To obtain the variance, the board must determine, number one, that the sign will provide community information. Number two, that the sign will not adversely affect the character of nearby residential properties. Number three, that the sign is for a community facility use. Number four, that information displayed on the sign shall be limited to information that pertains to the community facility. Number five, that each display of information shall remain static or fixed for a minimum of 20 seconds. And number six, that the sign shall be either a wall sign or a freestanding sign with a maximum area of 30 square feet. Alternatively, the board may approve a sign that varies from the above requirements if it determines that the sign will meet a community need without adversely impacting the character of nearby residential properties.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to you, Mr. Wilkinson. Mr. Wilkinson, I'll give you the floor. Please tell us about your variance request.
Thank you. The signage for the site plan that was provided at the address 2606 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. The existing sign will remove, dispose, and upon approval. The new proposed sign would be installed as close as possible to where the existing sign is shown. A new foundation would be required for proper stabilization. Please refer to the engineering drawings, I believe that was submitted, shown in the supporting package for any questions, regarding the package. So, and for wind load, the new sign will be able to withstand 110 miles per hour winds. The existing sign shown is the same in the height and square footage as the proposed, which is 31 feet, 31.67 feet overall. Our current sign design on property is outdated, and we would like the opportunity to better advertise our services and events.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to you, Ms. Parker. Do you want to give your comment?
Yes, on behalf of Council President Blaine A. Griffin, Council President support the new sign for the Church of God in Christ, requesting of a new sign. So he's in support of this ask.
Okay. Thank you for that, and thank you for joining us today. Are there any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, to the appellant, through you. There are a couple conditions that you need to meet for the signage. Can you talk about the content that will be shown on the sign? And what?
One thing at a time.
Sure. And if you've had a conversation with your neighbors.
Me personally, as the board chair, have not had a conversation with the neighbors. I'll have to follow up with our pastor regarding any said conversations. But what would be promoted on the sign is just advertising our upcoming events. That would be any community events, time of services, any special services of that nature, anything related to holiday events or motivational, inspirational messaging for the community, because we know it's in a residential area and there are walker-bys and pedestrians walking by the church at different hours of the day. So we would definitely keep that in mind, and definitely holding to the requirements of the time and um, the transition time between messages, making sure that we are compliant in that order as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. Our typical question for this also is what hours is the sign going to be illuminated? What time will it come on in the morning and what time will it go off at night?
We are still establishing those timeframes. This will be new technology for us, but we definitely will comply to whatever is required. And it is my understanding that the sign has a way to control the illumination of the sign, and it's our desire, if there is settings to control that automatically, then we would do that as well, not to disturb the residents and the neighbors within the community. Um, so we would definitely use best practices as it relates to those matters.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have any correspondence, Madam Secretary?
No, I don't believe we do. No, we do not.
All right, any comments from City Planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay. I did get a comment from Kim Scott, the neighborhood planner for the area, that she's generally supportive of the signs. There was a note that she mentioned that was raised to add conditions limiting the hours of display to limit the impact to the nearby neighborhood residents.
Okay. And did she indicate what hours?
There wasn't a clear indication indicated from Ms. Scott, but generally, this board makes that kind of decision dependent on the services that they're providing.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions from the board? All right, hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, given the testimony we've heard today, the support of City Council, the support of the City Planner, I move approval of calendar number 26-011. Should we want to make a limitation on hours? I think we typically make it from 7:30 to 10:30, 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we call the vote, please?
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Mr. Madison.
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 26-011 is granted conditionally based upon the restriction of hours of 7:30 to 10:30. We will ratify this next week and send the appellant a letter. He can also contact us next Wednesday after ratification for further instruction.
All right, thank you for that. Your matter is now concluded. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll now call the next matter, which is calendar number 26-008. Do we have Stephanie Mackey present? All right, we'll have you come forward, and while you do that, Ms. Holzer will read in the case.
All right, our next case, oh, I didn't scroll fast enough. Okay. Our next case is calendar number 26-008. This is at 12816 Brookfield Avenue. Stephanie Mackey and others, owner, proposes to enclose an existing front porch with a single family residence. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, and spell your name, and give your address.
I do, Lisa. Address is 4313 Rodon Road.
Sorry, can you please
Your
turn your mic on?
mic is on.
Thank you.
All right, I do, Lisa Marshall. That's Lisa Marshall with 2 L's. Address is 4313 Rodon Road, Brooklyn, Ohio 44144. Representing patio enclosures, Great Day Improvements.
I do, Tony Jones, representing Jefferson Puritas, TONIJONES.
And could you please state your address?
14703 Puritas.
Thank you. And anyone else on the call? Anyone else in the room? All right, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we go to history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1959, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling. 1962, a permit was issued to erect a 1-story private frame garage with a patio and a patio. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history, we found that in July of 2023, a permit was issued to erect a 4-foot tall chain link fence. And in 2017, a permit was issued to erect 82 linear feet of 6-foot tall privacy fence. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the enclosed front porch and interior side yard requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. Ms. Marshall, I'll give you the floor. Do you want to tell us about your variance request?
Sure, I'm a little bit new at this. This is my first time being here and I'm just out of training. I'm coming on behalf of the consultant that actually did this project.
All right,
So,
well, welcome.
From what I was told was just to come here to see if there were any issues, to see if I could clear anything up. So I'm not quite sure what.
So it's our understanding that you're requesting a variance. Can you tell us about the porch that you're looking to build? Kind of
Okay.
give us, an overview of the project.
Yep, so the current building or the current structure there has a awning. We would be taking down the awning and using the pre-existing concrete base that's already there. Since it already has the footers on it, it should be up to code. And then we would be building about 167.5-inch wide by 71.5-inch deep enclosed front porch.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. Tony Jones, do you want to give us your comments at this time?
Our comments basically is the porch has been existing for a while. I think it's built with the property. Ms. Mackey is just looking to enclose the porch for her quiet enjoyment. She will be retiring soon. there may be some other type of accessibility issues that'll also be welcomed with this property, but part of it is she's able to use her porch for her quiet enjoyment. And we see no issues. She has the best house on the street, guys. It's awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you for that, Ms. Jones. Do we have any questions from the board? Uh-huh. Any questions from the board? All right, hearing no questions, do we have any comments from city planning?
Good morning. We do have Nathaniel Lowe online, I see.
Okay.
Nate, I defer to you for this is your area.
Good morning. This is Nate with Cleveland City Planning. And I swear to tell the whole truth. 601
Thank you.
Lakeside Avenue. No objections to this.
All right, thank you for that,
That's all
Mr.
our comments.
Law. All right, any questions from the board based on what we've heard?
Just, Madam Chair, through you, just want to make sure that we've covered the practical hardship question, if there is one here. Just make sure I've got the right information in front of me. This case. Yeah, just the standard question on if the variance is not approved, if there's any practical hardship or difficulty that the individual would face.
To use it?
What would be the difficulty that the homeowner here would face if the variance is not granted today?
I mean, I would believe just postponing the project and timeline, but for right now, I think the structure itself is still sound.
Thank you.
I think basically, if I could speak up, she wouldn't be able to enjoy the full structure. Part of the enclosure is to be able to, one, put eyes on the street, which helps the entire neighborhood. She will be retiring soon, and it is a way, since she may have some mobility challenges and may not be able to get out into the rear yard. It is just another avenue for her to be able to enjoy her retirement life. Actually, it might be
right.
retirement. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Jones. All right, any other questions from the board? Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, excuse me. Given the testimony we've heard today, this is the sort of thing we typically do not approve of. But given the fact that it has support of the neighborhood planner and the CDC for the area, and it does sound like it is a move that's being made, a structure that's being added that will allow Ms. Mackey, the homeowner, to age in place in her home. So given that, I move approval of calendar number 26-008.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Is there a second?
Board Member Madison, second.
Thank you. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 26-008 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. We will send the appellants a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction after
All right,
ratification.
you're welcome. Thanks for coming down. We'll now call the next case. This is calendar number 26-010. Do we have Cash and Andrea Mishka present? Mishka, I said that right. Okay. Let's go ahead and read in the case, please.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Our next case is calendar number 26-010. This is at 172 East 37th Street. Cash and Andrea Mishka, owners, propose to establish use as a 7,800 square foot mixed use building with one residential dwelling unit on the second floor and one commercial business on the first floor in the C3 semi-industry district. The owner appeals freely from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Sir, I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. My name is Cash Mishka. First name Cash, last name Mischka. My address is 420 Timber Ridge Trail, Gates Mills, Ohio, 44040.
Thank you.
Also on the phone is my architect, Spencer Mishka. I don't know if he'll be speaking.
To the architect, do you plan to speak in this matter? If so, we'll swear you in.
I believe that Cash can handle it, but if you'd like me to swear in just in case, I can do that.
Let's go ahead and swear you in just in case you want to say anything.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do you swear or affirm you want to state I do, state your name, spell your name, give your address, please.
I do. Spencer Mishka, SPENCER MISCHKA. My address 3535 Edison Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio 44121.
Thank you very much. And is there anyone else on the call or in the room who wishes to speak in this matter? I am not seeing anyone, Madam Chair. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Can we now go to history of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1922, a permit was issued to erect a one-story shop. 1924, a permit was issued to erect a one-story storage building. 1948, a permit was issued to demolish a barn. 1961, a permit was issued to install 2 asphalt container tanks in front of the storage building. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system, we found that a certificate of disclosure was issued in 2022 and in 2025, stating that the authorized use of the property is as factory and warehouse. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can we have legal?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the rear yard depth requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. We'll turn to you now. I'll give you the floor. Can you tell us about your variance request?
We are trying to get a variance request pertaining to the rear yardage minimums that are in the code as applicable to residential properties in the city of Cleveland. Since we are changing or attempting to change from a complete commercial building to a mixed use building, because in this area, commercial buildings are no longer viable. We are attempting to bring life to these new structures by actually having residents occupy the top floor of our building. And then in the bottom floor, utilizing it for warehouse space or for a business. The city is very strict in its requirements of saying a residential use building has to have a minimum of 20 feet in the rear of such properties. The problem being that that code section does not understand that older buildings such as this were built right up to the property lines. And therefore there is no rear yardage in these buildings, much as if you're talking about like a condominium building or an apartment building. There's lots of residential use in that building, but they don't have a rear yard. In this particular case, I think the photographs best explain it. And there are 3 pertinent photographs that I've submitted, which are of the building itself. So this would be the current front of the building. I think there's actually 3 photos that I've given you, which this doesn't show. All right, so up at the top, you have the current front of the building. Okay, this was the original rear of the building when this was constructed in 1900. In 1900, East 37th Street did not exist. This building faced East 36th Street. And in front of this was a small alley called Johnson Court, in which carriages and horses and everything came through that alley and serviced the front of the building, which is in the left-hand corner in the rear. Sometime in the 1920s, the city of Cleveland extended East 37th Street and put in utilities on East 37th there, sewer, water, everything else. As a result, they changed the front of the building from East 36, where it was built directly on the property line, as you would expect a building with its frontage. They changed it, and the front of the building became on East 37. As you can see, there's almost 100 and 125 feet from the front of the building to East 37th Street, as well as a yardage right there in front of the little blue garage structure of almost 35 by 35 in a square, which complies with the intent of the code. But there is addressing Mr. Madison's previous question, there is a practical impossibility of complying with the code for minimum rear yardage requirements with this building's current situation on the rear yardage, on the rear property line. As you can see on the far right corner, the picture, that shows you the alleyway. That alleyway is no longer used. The city does not maintain it. All around the building is nothing but parking lots. A parking lot to the right, a parking lot to the left, and parking lots in the rear. What we are proposing is at least when we submitted this, they say, okay, there's 15 feet there between the edge of the building and the next property. And what you see there are actual storage containers that are being kept on the parking lot of the property owner behind us. We only have, if you divide it in half, 7.5 feet. And the city says that's not enough. It's got to be 20 feet. That's a practical impossibility. And so we are requesting a variance to allow us to, in essence, substitute the front yardage of the building, which is a 35 feet of grass, as well as that 150 feet of open space, for the intent of what the city is trying to accomplish when they talk about rear yardage for residential properties. And then talking about the hardship, well, if we are not allowed to do this, we cannot convert this in any way to any kind of residential use. You can't use it for mixed use. You can't use it for pure residential use. If someone wanted to come in here and change it to a residential property, you can't do it for live work because the code section doesn't differentiate. It's very clear. It only says 20 feet residential, that's it. Well, these type of buildings cannot comply. It's a practical impossibility. And so we're asking for the variance to allow us to either do 7 feet in the rear, which no one's going to use anyhow because it's just an alley, or to substitute the 35 feet of yardage in the front for the required 20-foot rear yardage. Because this was the original rear aspect of the building.
All right, does that conclude your comments?
Yeah, I have other things if you want to talk about that, but I just think the ordinance as written currently applicable to these new type of buildings and the city's plan to revitalize neighborhoods needs to be revisited by city council as well as the zoning commission, because you're going to see more and more of this coming before you. You know, we have done this 3 or 4 times and this seems to be a continuing problem, that there's these very restrictive type of things when they talk about yardage, and they don't account for these buildings that are converted over now, and the owners can't physically then do anything or move forward until they come here to get variances. So I would ask you to at least think about this in the future, maybe alter these codes, put something in there for mixed use buildings that as long as they have the required yardage on the side or the rear or the front, that it would comply with the intent. and not just talk about rear yardage, because you're not going to find very many commercial buildings that have rear yardage.
Okay, thank you for your comments today. We will now turn to Mr. Spencer Mishka. Do you want to give comments at this time?
Sure. I'd just like to note that it's given the location of the building, the character of the building, as you can see in the photograph, and the proximity to other residential uses in the zoning map. I just think it makes sense that this project could follow suit in some of the nearby properties that, per the zoning map, appear to me that they have also gone through a change of zoning in order to meet these similar type of requirements. I mean, on the same street, we have residence industry, multifamily, amongst the, and 2-family residential right behind the property amongst the semi-industry. And so I just think that approach makes sense for this property. When you look at the pictures here, this to me has a garage, it has a front yard, it has a driveway. The building itself lends itself to a mixed use building more than anything else, in my opinion. I think that's what we're arguing for this property, to be used in the future rather than being demolished or sold off to a developer that they could then use as parcel, for whatever they'd like. And that would conclude my comments.
All right, thank you for that. I'll turn to the board now for questions.
Madam Chair, through you to the appellant. I'm curious to know what the plans are for the finishing out of the building, how you plan to use the residential unit, and if you have any proposed plans for the commercial business use.
Yes, I can tell you that the upstairs is a single residential unit. It is not to be divided, so it would be a single loft style unit. The downstairs can be utilized in its current configuration as a warehouse, or it can be built out for any sort of general commercial business. As you see, there is a for sale sign on the building. We've had numerous people come through, and they all want the same thing. We have found there's a large demand for mixed use properties such as this, where you're offering a large residential space upstairs that would be unique to your family or your individual needs. And then downstairs, you can run your business out on the totally separate from the living area. Envision would be more the type of things, not industrial use, but more professional use. Makers, creators, artists, small attorneys, architects, those type of things. Those are the type of people that are coming through. They're looking for these spaces that they can call their own, and they don't have to rent out different things. This is the problem that we're seeing, is that people own a home, then they're renting space in the suburbs for storage, then they're renting a separate space for their business. They want it all integrated in one separate individual building that they own and control. And that's what we do. We find these type of structures, and we convert them for single use, so that there's really one party who owns the upstairs, and they also occupy the downstairs with their business. We find that to be the most effective use of the space.
All right, any other questions from the board? All right, any correspondence, Madam Secretary?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
All right, any comments from city planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay. I'm representing city planning. I did get a note from Kenya Gray, the neighborhood planner from this area. He did mention that he's supportive of the variances to utilize this property as residential. He also mentions that city planning, is kind of like updating our zoning code to better speak to the flip of a lot of these existing legacy industrial uses for residential. And so that's all we have to say for comment. I will also mention this is very contextual to other residential uses. Just up the street is Payne, and up and down Payne, you do have a lot of revitalization of the neighborhood. There's actually a lot more infill projects going on to support more residential uses. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Bay. Any other questions from the board? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion, please.
Madam
Um,
Chair, based on,
Go ahead, Ms. Roca.
thank you. Based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 26-010.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Board Member Madison, second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Mr. Madison.
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 26-010 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday after ratification for further instruction.
Thank you.
All right, good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
We'll now call the next case. Do we have someone present from Cleveland Muslim Community Center? You present for this case? All right, we will go ahead and read the case in. I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Holzer.
Our next case is calendar number 26-012. This is at 4600 Rocky River Drive. Cleveland Muslim Community Center owner proposes to install two 32-square-foot electronic changeable copy bulletin board wall signs on the brick portion of the perimeter fence on a parcel located in the split zone in in the split zoning of a one-family and two-family, or split zoning of one-family and two-family residential. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. There are two noted, and again, the second one has lots of notes. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Madam Chair, I will enter the oath, but I know that Mr. Noel, so we're we'll address that first. He's probably wanting to swear in.
Are you wanting to swear in, Mr. World?
Yes, good morning. This is Nate again. Sorry, it was a little hard to hear you. I think your mic's off in the middle.
My mic is off. I apologize. Are you just wanting to swear in?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay, great. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. Go ahead.
I'll go first. I do. Jim J.P. Potacek, Larson Architects, 12815 Detroit Avenue, Lakewood, Ohio, and I'm representing this project.
Thank you.
Can you spell
please-
your?
Go ahead. Go ahead. If you could spell your last
Yes,
name.
P as in Paul, T as in Thomas, A as in Anthony, C as in Charlie, E as in Ernie, K as in Kelly.
Thank you. And we'll go to you, Mr. Lowell. Go ahead.
I do. Nate Law, Cleveland City Planning, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
And is there anyone else in the room or on the call who wishes to speak in this matter? Seeing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Can we go to history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have many records on this, but I'm going to try to summarize it the best I can.
Okay.
First, I'll state that the zoning was originally split between general retail and two-family in 1929. In 1944, it was placed, or the general retail portion was placed into the two-family district. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1951, a permit was issued to erect a brick veneer church. 1962, an addition was made to the church. 1963, another addition was made to the church. And then in our Acela system, we see that a new building that was erected in 2013. In 2014, a permit was issued to erect new industrialized classroom trailers. And again, in 2015, we see trailers were erected on the property. And then in 2016, we see that there was a temporary use for 30 days for Ramadan celebration for 817 occupancy. 2017, a permit was issued to build a 204 space parking lot with 7 accessible parking spaces. In 2018, a permit was issued to erect an addition on the southeast side of the existing building. There are 4 variances. In 1992, a variance was granted to erect a ground sign in 2022 and calendar 22-031. This board granted a variance to erect a building addition, including an 8,500 square foot gymnasium, contrary to the parking requirements. And in 2025 and calendar 25-220, this board granted a variance to install an aluminum fencing 6 feet tall, contrary to the height regulations. And that's all that I have that's relevant, I believe. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a variance to allow an electronic message center to display information pertinent to a community facility use on the premises. To obtain the variance, the board must determine, number one, that the sign will provide community information. Number two, that the sign will not adversely affect the character of nearby residential properties. Number three, that the sign is for a community facility use. Number four, that the information displayed on the sign shall be limited to information that pertains to the community facility. Number five, each display of information shall remain static or fixed for a minimum of 20 seconds. And number six, that the sign shall be either a wall sign or a freestanding sign with a maximum area of 30 square feet. Alternatively, the board may approve the sign that varies from the above requirements if it determines that the sign will meet a community need without adversely impacting the character of nearby residential properties.
All right, thank you for that. I will now turn to you. You have the floor. Tell us about your variance request.
Yes. I'm almost delighted that there isn't a crowd today.
I know you are. I know that you are.
This is part of kind of a secondary echo to the variance that was proposed to erect the sign as a masonry sign. We went back, we sought a nonconformity for this to be a LCD sign to anchor both ends as they're expanding to put in the school sort of on the north side of the property. So it will effectively stretch block to block. So in essence, and I'm not sure if the presentation is available. Perfect. So next slide, please. So again, this is the site. You guys have seen it before. If you want to advance. The first thought when this was first brought up is like, if we're going to link this all the way through, sorry, next slide, please. Or is it the delay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So context, you've seen. The sign at the lower right hand corner photo is basically a 4x8 sign with some bric-a-brac around it, 32 square feet. As part of it, the notion was we can pull the fencing back and incorporate it, because right now the fencing at the corner is a visual obstruction. The sign kind of being set back where it is also isn't all that visible. You know, if you're at the traffic light, it's kind of because the street's at an angle. So they said, let's do it so that we can clip the angle, improve the view quarters at both ends, and then install it. So when he was saying, well, I'm going to buy this sign, it was like, all right, he bought one that's 4x8. So it is 2 square feet greater than the allowed, but we actually tailored the shape of the wall and everything else to incorporate that physical size of the sign as well. So we were starting with that as our starting context, and all of the requirements for the timing and the visual requirements of this as a community center for both the mosque and the school, the 20-second rule, those have already been provided to the applicant as well. So they know from a content standpoint, there's restrictions as well. But knowing that this had to go before this board, we were trying to tailor it so that all of the changes we're making, both to signage and to the fencing itself, are improved conditions for visibility, visual obstruction, and still can offer, you know, this changeable copy condition to advertise both for mosque and for school, especially as they're in the process of expanding the school to have another, 15 classrooms on the north side as well. Phasing of this is that they will likely build this portion of the fence that was previously approved first, and as the construction of the school completes, then they'll finish the wraparound. So the second one will be delayed in its installation, but will be, again, a continuation of it just to avoid the constructability issue of putting it up now and having to build the school around it. So, and then for reference, and this is later in the presentation, we do have some images of what it would look like in that context. And then just for reference, we did pull that just further north up the street, Holy Cross Lutheran has a much larger sign, same functional use, school, church. Theirs is actually a little bigger. Their aggregate sign is, I think, almost 58 plus square feet. The top cabinet on is about 24 square feet, and it's a 35-foot electronic sign. It's like 10 by 3'6". So different proportions, but again, when you look at it, I wouldn't guess that that's non-compliant from a square footage either. It's just, oh, it's there. And they do the same thing. They, school events, I think when we were there, they did Happy New Year or something like that. There is a video of it if it will play. I don't know. That's the next slide. No. Okay. Thank you. So ends my presentation.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Lowe, do you want to give your comments at this time?
Yes, good morning. Thank you again. So I just wanted to report out from the Planning Commission meeting, which happened on December 19th, 2025 of last year. The signage was presented and was approved for, they were proposing to be closer to the street than the distance which was required by the zoning district. And the action from the meeting was essentially the approval with the condition that the applicant look into the technical settings of the digital sign to adjust the brightness based on time of day and impact to neighbors. So if the board sees fit today, we would recommend approving with the same conditions.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Lowe. Any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, just again for the record, given Mr. Lowell's statement, what will be the hours that the sign is on?
I don't know that it actually, and Mr. Lull, if you can correct me, I don't know that the Planning Commission put a restriction on the hours that it was on. I think the notion was that there would be an attempt to adjust brightness. There is a residential property. The primary concerns are both due south and due north. There is a residential property that would be potentially affected because it's angled towards the house. It's not really flashing at them, but it's contextual across the street. So from that perspective, they said that the applicant they requested would make a request to adjust the brightness. Obviously, they can be dialed down at night so that, at 2 o'clock in the morning, so they would we never established a timeline for that, but it's probably going to be, no one's driving down Rocky River Drive at 11 o'clock to find out when the mosque is going to be open or, when are the Eid's, celebrations. But I guess we would probably find something in that, 9, 10, 11 o'clock timeline, and then 6, 7 in the morning, at that point, probably working, there are kids who are dropped off for school functions starting around 7-ish, but we did not establish nor did Planning Commission, a specific set of hours. We just took the guidance back that, yes, we'll work to find hours that are respectful to the neighbors at that point, as, the imam and the congregation has worked to be supportive of, we're in a context, so.
All right, any other questions from the board? All right, hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of calendar number 26-012 with the condition that the signage be either dimmed. Do we need dimmed or turned off explicitly?
I believe we put the condition of shutting the other one down. I spoke about this morning, shutting it off at 10:30 and restarting at 7:30.
So then I will make the condition that the sign be turned off after 10 p.m. and may be turned back on after 7 a.m.
30.
Do you have any preference?
I mean, preference, I'm objectively not the person to decide the timing, but the longer window, obviously, the more advertising they can do for events out there. So if 10:30 is what's been granted to others, would probably prefer a similar measure of response times at that point. So.
And what time does the school open in the morning?
I do believe I've seen cars there as early as 7 o'clock, doing drop off. So
then I would say that the sign be on from 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Board Member Madison, second. Oh, sorry. Go, Ms. Faith.
That's okay. I was going to second as well, and I concur with Ms. Holzer's hours that she determined. So go ahead, Mr. Madison.
Board
All
member,
right.
second, yeah.
Wait, Ms. Faith, did you just offer a second to the motion?
Yeah, I did offer a second.
Okay, so we have a second. Let's call the vote, please.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Account number 26-012 is granted conditionally. We'll ratify it next Monday. We'll send the appellant a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday after ratification for further instruction.
Thank you.
All right, good luck with
Thank
your
you.
project. You're quite welcome. We're gonna recall calendar number 25-236. We called this case early this morning. We did not have an appellant in the room. Is Mr. Norman King present with us at this time? Okay, we'll have you come forward. And if you want to speak in this case, you can also come forward to the table. And while you do that, I'll have Ms. Holzer read in the case.
Our final case of the day is calendar number 25-236. This is at 17715 Euclid Avenue. Norman King proposes to expand the use of a church to include an event center in a local retail business zoning district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. You have to turn your way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
We good right here?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Name's Norm King, NORMANKING. Address is 17715 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Thank you. And is there anyone on the call?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I do. Shelley Hill. My permanent address is 1778 Wickford Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. And I do have a second parcel, which is a plot of land right next door.
Great, thank you. And go ahead, sir, do you want to come forward so we can hear you
Okay.
in the back?
Oh, big man, okay.
Yep,
Yes,
come to the
please.
table.
Yep. And you can turn on that mic there just by pressing that button. And we'll have you raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
My name Pernell Hobley. Spelled Pernell. Last name Hobley. HOB as in boy LEY. My address is 17707 Euclid Avenue. And that's in Cleveland, Ohio, zip code 442. Also I have another parcel too. And that's 17703 Euclid Avenue, which is a park.
Great, thank you very much. Anyone else that wishes to speak in this matter? I'm not seeing anyone. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we go to history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1979, it was changed to local retail business. In our Records Administration Office, we only found that in 1930, a permit was issued to erect a garage. Then we do have one variance on file in calendar 58-519, and that was in 1958. This board granted a request to erect a one-story masonry retail store, contrary to the yard requirements at that time. And then in the more recent history, I see that in 2004, violation notice was issued for exterior maintenance. And then in 2023, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the authorized use of the property is as a store. And that's all that I have. That's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the separation requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. King, I'll give you the floor. Can you tell us about your variance request?
We had recently switched the variance. I know I wanted to, we rent to a church service. We're easterly of Mr. Purnell here, but we were trying to, with the church, add a fellowship hall. We've had events at this center based on the wishes of the pastor. And now he wants to just do a retail shop, which is what was granted years ago. So we changed our view.
Okay, does that conclude your comments?
Yeah.
All right. Any questions from the board based on that?
Yes, Madam Chair. What kind of retail shop? Can you tell us a little bit more about the business?
Right now, the Reverend wants to do a retail shop. He wants to do food, light refreshments for his congregation. And then he mentioned he wanted to serve some snacks and stuff inside the property now.
Any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, does this mean that the appellant is, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ms. Holzer.
I think I was going to ask the same question. Given that it was written up as an event center, but now we're looking at a retail shop, does this need to be re-adjudicated?
I think the appellant will need to withdraw at the table, actually. I see Mr. Koya has his hand up.
Okay, please.
Chicks Okoye, City Planning. I didn't get the description of event, what he has to be doing there for the event center. I didn't get what he said very well.
So what I heard through the chair is that it was written up as an event center, but now the church is looking to have it be a retail shop that serves food and is doing other things. So not planning on doing the fellowship hall or event center anymore.
Not the event center, no.
Not the event center.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there is no plan to do an event center, is there a need for us to consider this variance at this time?
What he has described is permitted in local retail.
I'm sorry, what he described?
He described is permitted in local retail.
Okay, so it sounds like what you have described is already permitted under the zoning that you have.
That's correct.
So I guess our business is done.
All right, I'm out of here. Thank you.
Sorry to make you wait all that time just to send you away.
We'll keep
but
our neighbors happy, you know.
Very good.
So
We
for the
love
record-
happy neighbors.
So for the record, Madam Chair, the appellant is withdrawing his request for an event center at this
You
time.
guys read
You just
this.
need to say that.
Oh,
into
sorry.
the-
Yes, we are withdrawing our request for an event center.
Okay, all right, it is so withdrawn. We will withdraw this and not hear the case today. So thank you for coming down.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right,
Enjoy.
same to you, Ms. Hill. We're gonna go ahead and withdraw this, so we will not hear any additional testimony, but thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yep, she can see you. All right, well, that concludes our matters for today. We're now gonna move to old business. I have numbers 1, 2, 3, and 5 that are up for ratification. Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection to 2 and 3 from me.
No objection.
All right, so those will all be ratified without objection. And that concludes our old business. It is now 10:37 and I will adjourn. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.